For being here. Disappointing performance on Saturday. Not the start that anybody associated with our team, fans, or anybody inside the building wanted to deal with. I want to say this before we talk about the game: is I really appreciate our fans who made the trip. Our band, spirit squads. They created a great atmosphere. I thought on our sideline it was really a big time college football atmosphere, something that we've been missing, and it's painful for all of us here that we couldn't deliver. And I'll share with you here, just to give you a little insight on kind of what I told our team yesterday. There's a book it's really one of my favorite books, and it's Good to Great by Jim Collins. And, it's a bestseller for a long time. But in there is kind of where I first learned about Admiral James Stockdale. And for you all that are historians, you kind of know who he is. He's the highest-ranking U.S. military officer that was in the Hanoi Hilton. But anyway, there's a quote that he had that I think that I pull out in times like this, and it's, "You must never confuse faith," and faith to me is belief in the unseen. "You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality." I'll read it again. "You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality." And so, and I say that to kind of start this is like, I still have extreme faith that we're going to prevail, and we're going to build a program here that's going to have a great infrastructure and be set up to win long term. But I'm also not blind to what our brutal facts are right now, and that's that we're 0-1 and we didn't play very well. And really, outside of our kickoff return unit and our kickoff team, I'm not sure that we won a whole lot of individual battles in the game, coaching or playing. And so that's kind of our brutal reality. And once you know where you are, you got to know where you want to go. And it's our brutal reality is 1-0. We were soundly defeated, like I said. Offensively, we had 3 turnovers. One of them on a 3rd and 1. One of them in the end zone. One of them was a really poor decision on a first play of a drive. We didn't play physical enough up front. Weren't consistent at quarterback. Defensively, we didn't play to the standard that we've created here over the last year and a half. Started very poorly. Didn't tackle very well. We had poor communication that gave up over 120 yards of offense. Then special teams, we had a huge turnover on punt return, and we didn't kick off the ball very well. And so that's kind of what our brutal reality is. And now there were positives in the game. Offensively, we started fast. Came out of the gates really, really well. Thought our receivers consistently won versus man coverage. Defensively, I thought in the third quarter we played like we're capable of. That was only quarter, but in the third quarter I felt like we played like we're capable of. We handled sudden change well, something that we didn't do as good a job with a year ago. Then on special teams, our kickoff return unit, highlighted by Winston Wright, was special, and really probably kept us in the game. But I think as we move forward, we got to learn from it and grow. We didn't perform very well, and we're judged on games. That's the way it is in this business. We're all big people here, and one game won't run a season. Today when we get our players back together, we're going to highlight a bunch of teams that have lost a game that was a 50-50 game to start, and rebounded to have really good seasons. And we're going to highlight those teams that occurred within our league. And there's several that you can look back up over the last 4 years. But we got to play better, and it starts with Saturday. We got our first home game, which with fans, and it's going to be a 5 o'clock kickoff, and which I think is a friendly time for our fans. Gives people from out of town plenty of time to get here and experience tailgating, and I hope they will. I hope our fans don't give up on us after one game, and I don't believe they will. I get that they're frustrated, and I think our players and our staff frustrated as well. Long Island is a program that has a strong tradition in Division II. They are making the transition to an FCS program. It's a program I know quite a bit about just because Coach Jackson he's an alumni, and so familiar through that. They've experienced some hardships. I do think it's worth noting that we're going to play them on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And they were, as a university and as a football program, were deeply affected by 9/11, just like our university was as well. And so their players will be excited. There's no question. I've been on the other side of this. Their players are going to be excited. This is going to be the biggest venue on the biggest stage they've ever played in, and we'll get their best. But it's not necessarily about them. It's about us making improvements. It's just to give you kind of kind of a brief who they are. Is offensively they're multiple, similar to what Maryland was on Saturday. They're going to give us a lot of misdirection screens. They got a couple really guys that are going to belong, and the receiver's really talented. He hit a couple big balls on FIU last week. Number 4, I'll give you his name, is Eugene. He's a really good player. I was impressed with him. You got a tight end, number 8, Glasgow, that transferred from Penn State. And their quarterback, I thought he managed it really well last week, a kid named Orth. Defensively, they're a team that likes the pressure. We didn't handle those very well on Saturday, and they're going to do that. They got a defensive end that one of the top defensive ends in FCS, just a really good player, and they get a corner named Sneed, who's been around the ball a lot in his career, and good player. Special teams, they got a good kicker, and they've hit a couple kickoff returns. Their running backs handle their kickoff returns, and they're solid players. But like I said, it's really more about us and getting back. We're going to play a lot of people this week. We're going to play some people that didn't play a week ago. We're going to give our young guys plenty of opportunities to get out there and show that they're capable of playing. And a lot to look forward to this weekend. I think Family Day here on campus, and I know we'll have a bunch of students' families in. We've talked about 9/11 and the 20th anniversary there. We're also going to honor our 2020 seniors and never had an opportunity to have a senior day. So those who are able to make it are going to be here. We have Heroes Day where we're honoring West Virginia and first responders. And so it's there's a lot going on, but for us within this building, most important thing is what we get done in practice this week, which is we've got a starting point that nobody's really happy with, and we've got to continue and improve. So with that, we'll take questions.
So, Neal, out of those long list of improvements you said you need, outside of turnovers, what's most critical?
No, I mean, that is the most critical. We're sitting here having a different story. Even the fact that we didn't play very well, if we don't turn the football over, we win. And so I think, Greg, that is the most important. I think the second thing is, and I'll give you one on each side of the ball, is we've got to play more physical on our offense within our offensive line. We've got to be more fundamentally sound at the quarterback position. And then defensively, we've got to we talk about 1/11th. Here a lot, and that's simple on defense. That's kind of our mantra is 1/11th, and really what that means is do your job. And we did not play good team defense on Saturday at all. We had guys, and it didn't necessarily come from a bad place. They're trying to make a play, but football is the greatest team game, and defensively, all the pieces work together. And give you a great example. We had a chance even at the end of the game, turn the ball over 4 times. We're down 6. Got a 3rd and 4. They run the quarterback on a truck play, quarterback lead truck. We got our defensive lineman right there. We got an edge to the defense. Akeem Messador is going to run and make the tackle, and it's going to be 4th and 2 to 4th and 3, gain of 1. Our defensive lineman comes in the B gap. They hit it outside. And it's just one example of not good team defense. And so on defense, we got to play team defense, and that means everybody doing their job. And we got to strike at the 2nd and 3rd level, way too much on our heels in the 2nd and 4th quarter, where we just didn't get downhill at the 2nd and 3rd levels defensively.
Neal, you mentioned obviously more fundamentally sound at quarterback. What was your message to Jared after the game, and kind of how was he handling things?
Yeah, it was a mixed bag. He had 12 bad plays, and that's when you say that, well, that's not too bad. Well, it's 1 out of 5 because you only played 62 countable snaps. That's the other thing gets lost in turnovers. We turn the ball over on the first play, so at minimum you lose two extra snaps. We drop the ball on a punt, so you lose at a minimum 3 snaps. We fumble on 3rd and 1, so that's a minimum of 3 snaps. So we're low in our snap count totals due to our own errors, So we're missing 9 to 12 plays in a game because we turned the football over. So we only snapped the ball 62 times. They snapped the ball 80, which is a combination of turnovers and us not being able to get off the field on 3rd down. And so back to kind of Daggy is he's got to eliminate the negative plays, and he's got to be able to move up in the pocket. The second interception was a fluke play, and I said it after the game, and it was even more fluke after watching it on film. 0 blitz, pretty good ball. May hung it a little bit, but it was really the kid just came off, and he probably shouldn't have. He got away with one, but that's the way the ball bounces sometimes. But he's got to move up in the pocket. He went back. We lost too many yards, and we gave up too much edge pressure too. We've got to firm up at a tackle spots.
The communication errors that you mentioned, giving up those yards on defense, was that communication getting the signal?
No, they had the signal. Yeah. So the one that the before half where they hit. Demas up the sideline for the big game on the first play. Just a miscommunication. We had a check there, didn't get it, gave up a big play, and then on the final touchdown, we just had, it could have go either way. It could have go missed assignment, could have go miscommunication, but either way, shouldn't have been. We should have had somebody right under that corner ball that got thrown for a touchdown.
It's like reacting to the play.
Well, I'll give you an example. So the double move that went for a touchdown, they motioned to it. So they had twins into the boundary on the double move touchdown. In the first quarter, they motion away. When we check to a different coverage on the check, something we've done all during training camp, and we weren't disciplined enough to stay in the check.
Got to get more physical. Does that change the way you approach this week?
Yeah, it does. Without a question, Bob, it does. I thought that the difference that they did. Okay, so and like I said, I'm sitting up here talking about how we didn't play well. Maryland did good things too. Now, I think we're all kidding ourselves if we don't think that. Those 2 receivers I said going into the game, and they're big time players, and they showed it. And they'll make big time plays against. If they can get them in space, they're going to make plays against everybody they play. I thought the quarterback played really well, as good as I've seen him play. Now, we did nothing to get him off rhythm either. We didn't get pressure. We never got him rattled. We never got him out of rhythm at all. But I thought he played really well. I thought the Fleet Davis kid at running back played exceptional. And so they got good players, and they won the game. Now, we didn't play very well, so that helped them, but they played well. So I'm not up here singing the blues on. I think Maryland played, and they won the game. But defensively, what they did that hurt us is they lined up and they played a heavy guy at nose, and we didn't do a very good job moving him off the ball. And then they played a B-gap defender that we didn't use very good technique on, and he played stronger than our guys. And that's reality. So does it change how we're going to practice this week? Absolutely. Absolutely. And so because we're going to play a lot of these games. And what I mean by that, we're going to play a lot of these games that could go either way. That's kind of where we're at right now with the schedule we play. Is we're going to play a lot of games that can go either way, and the margin for error is really small. And I've talked about that before. Our margin for error is small right now. And so we can't do things that hurt ourselves, which is the most infuriating thing about that game. It's not that we lost. It's how we lost and how come we lost. Turnovers, miscommunication, things like that.
I was reading the game notes. It said none of your offensive line had a missed assignment, which is pretty good.
I don't know where the hell that come from. I don't know. I don't read the notes. Sorry, but I don't know if that's accurate.
All right, should I pivot then?
Probably pivot on that one because I don't know if that's accurate.
Well, presuming it's in the ballpark.
I will say this: we didn't have offensively. We didn't have a whole lot of missed assignments. Okay, I think we had one missed signal in the game, Mike. It wasn't where it's kind of tale of two sides, right? Offensively, we didn't have very many missed assignments. That even could be correct. I have no idea about. It's probably under 5 though. Okay, I think that's fair. It's under 5 as far as missed assignments or whatever. Let me turn this off. Sorry. But it's probably under 5. But what we did is, outside of the receiver position, and I thought tight end, T.J. Banks played every snap that we played at tight end, which isn't we're limited right there with the number of bodies. But he played his best football, and he didn't do anything to hurt us, and he played pretty fundamentally sound. But at offensive line, and even Letty played well with the ball in his hands. I think he can do some better things away from the ball. But offensive line wise and quarterback wise, we didn't execute our fundamentals as well. It wasn't a missed assignment. It wasn't we failed because of missed assignments. It was more because we didn't execute the fundamentals. I didn't mean to cut you off. What was your question? Sorry.
Totally ruined it, so don't worry about it.
I'll come back to me.
I'll go on with this one here. You want to play more players. I understand that. The low snap count in the first game, did that keep you from needing players or getting them in the right moment, or did you maybe get guys in but didn't use them enough? Just where you sit there?
Yeah, I think fair question. The running back position is the one that where we had things that we wanted to get Letty. And where he got touch wise is close to where we wanted him. We wanted him to be in that 25 range. I would have liked to play Justin Johnson more. I think he played like 2 snaps. That's one on offense when you go back. Like we should have played him more. But the rhythm of the game just didn't allow itself. Defensively is where we've got to do a better job subbing. And we'll do that better moving forward. Dante Steele's played way too many snaps. Taj Austin played too many snaps. If you talk about people that played well, like Akeem Messidor played he played like a dude. I mean, if you want to know how I wish all 22 played, watch how he plays. I thought Sean Martin played really well in his first serious game action. I thought, but we got to get a safety rotation. Alonzo Scotty and Mahone played too many snaps, and then Dante and Taj played too many snaps.
Injuries, O'Loughlin, Mathis.
Yeah. Mathis I'm hopeful for him. And he had a little bit of setback last week. I thought we had a chance to get him for Saturday. Miko, I knew it was going to be a long shot. But if I told everybody that would have affected how they planned, all right, because they would have known we were going to have to play a lot of 10 personnel, which we did. I would say Mike's probably still doubtful. He hadn't practiced a single time in fall camp yet, so he's worked on the side. Since we're into it now, he hasn't gone through a practice yet, and so we're hoping he's a little bit limited today, and maybe even can do. He's going to do some individual. He did some individual yesterday. He's going to do some individual today, hoping he can be limited tomorrow. But I would still say doubtful for Saturday. Hopefully get him back where he can play some snaps versus Virginia Tech is kind of the plan. But we'll see how that goes because it's going to take him a little bit to get into some football shape, and that's a physical position he has to play.
What's your thoughts on Esdale Saturday?
Yeah, he did some good things. He's been consistent. He has. He has. He had a couple nice plays. I wasn't surprised how our receivers played. I thought that they won versus man coverage probably 80% or more of the time. They got free. I thought they were pretty good after the catch. The one thing that we've got to work on, I thought we had 2, maybe 3 opportunities to go score touchdowns, on catch and runs, and we didn't. That's something that we've got to get better at. But I thought that Esdale and those main guys that played, Bryce, Sam James was really good. Winston got a little winded from the kickoff returns, but he played solid on offense. Sean Ryan and Esdale, I thought all of them played pretty well.
Neal, when you first saw, when you first got here and you saw Winston, what about him really stood out to you, and what about what you saw made you think that he could become what he has now, especially on returns and the special teams?
Yeah, he's had good speed. So I first saw Winston when I was still at Troy as a head coach. He was at a camp at Mercer, and he ran really fast. He ran in the low 4.4s there, I think, if my memory serves me right, at that Mercer camp. And so we really had been tracking him since. And then when I got this job and he'd already signed, I was excited because we were recruiting pretty hard at Troy and we thought we had a chance. And then he got a couple Power 5 offers late in summer, middle of the fall there, and then he's really progressed nicely. And he's had a good 9 months. Y'all probably notice he's quite a bit stronger, and y'all notice because y'all were there in practice a lot too. But he's added weight, he's more explosive. The thing on the kickoff returns is we blocked kickoff returns last year really well. He didn't return them as well. The thing that I was excited of the day is he never stopped his feet. He was decisive in his decisions, and he hit them with speed. And he'll continue to do that. I think that's going to be a real weapon for us moving forward.
Neal's getting better in 10 personnel a goal. We don't have a Lockwood for.
We have to. Yeah, we have to. We've got to. And we probably should have gone to it a little bit more. It's a little bit of a dynamic there because, Letty is still, our feature guy, and there's some things he does in 11 personnel that's better. We probably should have gone to some of the 10 personnel stuff a little bit earlier in the third quarter if I had to do it over again. But that's the way it goes. When you lose games, you always kind of go, I wish I would have done this. But you have to. Yeah. We had to play. We played right at about half the game in 10 personnel. We'll probably have to do that again this week. It's not ideal, but we can be successful doing it. You know what I mean? We got to you got to be able to run the ball better out of it, and we got to get